KPBS On Demand is supported by the San Diego County Toyota dealers, presenting the new 2025 Camry with refined design and performance. Visit your local Toyota dealer to learn more about all the features the new 2025 Camry offers. The San Diego County Toyota dealers. We make it easy.
Good morning, I'm Debbie Cruz. It's Thursday, September 26. A recent audit reveals significant challenges in California's community college transfer process. More on that next. But first, let's do the headlines. A new report found the cost of home ownership in the city of San Diego dropped more than 7% last month. The decline comes after a reduction in home loan interest rates. According to Reality Hop, the average rate for a 30-year mortgage is down nearly half a point at 6.3%. San Diego remains one of the most unaffordable cities in the country, with median home prices above $900,000. MTS says that starting this weekend, bus and trolley riders in East County can enjoy faster trips and more reliable service. It's launching its new copper line Sunday at 5 in the morning, which will run from Santee to El Cajon. Riders can get more information about the new track at a celebration event at the El Cajon Transit Center tomorrow afternoon. The Padres are headed back to the playoffs. They will be at least a wild card team in the National League when the playoffs start next week. Right now, they are second in their division. Depending on how they do in the last 4 games of the regular season, they could take the number 1 spot from the LA Dodgers. We'll know what the postseason matchups are on Sunday. From KPBS, you're listening to San Diego News Now. Stay with me for more of the local news you need.
KPBS On Demand is supported by Splatero, helping homeowners pay off debt by offering streamlined access to your home's equity with no additional monthly payments or new debt. Splatero provides a lump sum of payment in exchange for a share of your home's future value. Pre-qualification is available at splatero.com.
A new state audit shows that many community college students are not graduating or transferring to a university within 4 years. North County reporter Alexander Nguyen says the complex transferring process is partly to blame.
The report was released Tuesday. It found that only 1 in 5 students, or roughly 20% who intend to transfer, did so within 4 years. Bureaucracy is partly to blame. Both the University of California and California State University have different requirements. The report says the transfer system is too complex and students sometimes get lost in the maze. Chula Vista Assembly member David Alvarez was surprised at how low the transfer rate was. He was the one who asked for the audit.
It's a wake-up call for sure for our institutions of higher learning to get their act together and make sure that we are successfully getting students to complete and to graduate.
He says the audit unearths a number of roadblocks for the legislature to address to streamline the process for students. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
Supporters of solar energy systems will appear in court today to try to stop new regulations they say will make it harder for people to choose solar. SciTech reporter Thomas Fudge says the issue is who gets to install and maintain their battery systems.
Many Californians install rooftop solar energy systems that come with a battery storage unit, and they've been able to hire their contractor to maintain the battery system and add to it over time. But that will change on October 1st unless plaintiffs in a San Diego court case prevail in their suit. A California licensing board wants only licensed electricians to work on battery energy storage systems. Some environmental and solar industry groups say the new rules limit consumer choice, and the board had no good reason for it. Dave Rosenfeld is with the Solar Rights Alliance.
Their own research did not find a shred of evidence that there is any difference in performance or safety in batteries that are installed by licensed solar contractors as compared to batteries installed by licensed electricians.
The state board said it would not comment on the litigation. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
"46 years ago, 2 planes collided over North Park. It was at that time the worst air disaster in U.S. history. Reporter John Carroll says family members and friends of those lost finally have not one, but two places to mourn.
On the north side of St. Augustine High School Wednesday morning, chimes sounded, a call to remembrance.
To memorialize this tragedy, we've created this prayer garden for our community.
St. Augustine's President Ed Hearn talking about a new prayer garden anchored by a memorial. It features 144 hand-painted tiles in muted versions of PSA's red and orange colors. One tile for each of those who lost their lives that day.
Time does heal all. Maybe not heal completely, but it softens the blow.
That's Bea Turkel. Her daughter, Marla Scavia, was a 24-year-old PSA flight attendant heading home to San Diego on Flight 182. We met Bea at the other memorial, the new one, just placed at the crash site at the intersection of Dwight and Nile.
It was a long time in coming, but they've done a fine job, and everyone is to be commended for that.
And now, all these years later, family and friends of those lost, and all of us, have two places to remember. John Carroll, KPBS News.
San Diego lost its place as a Republican stronghold. Voice of San Diego CEO Scott Lewis tells us how and why it matters.
I've been reporting on San Diego politics for the past 20 years, and this is the first election cycle where no Republican is even running for an office in the city of San Diego. All the candidates for mayor, city attorney, city council, they're all Democrats or nonpartisan. So what happened? Can Republicans ever come back? Republicans really started to lose traction about 16 years ago when Barack Obama was elected president. Then Donald Trump won, and in San Diego, Trump was not popular. During that time, Democrats learned all they had to do was tie a local candidate to Trump, and they could doom that candidate. Here's why it matters. Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer, one of the last Republicans in city politics, is running for county supervisor. He hopes to oust an incumbent, Democrat Tara Lawson-Remer. So that's the first thing to watch on election night, that county supervisor race. If Faulconer wins, the Republican wins, maybe former President Trump no longer is holding back local candidates. I'm Scott Lewis, and this is why it matters.
Arts reporter Beth Alcamando wants to kick off the fall season by introducing you to Greg DeFada, who scares people for a living.
Greg DeFada and I just bonded over making people pee their pants.
And yeah, I do get a little satisfaction if somebody pees in their pants. Call me weird, that's the ultimate tip of the hat.
See, we both run haunted houses. I'm a home haunter, and DeFada has been running the epic haunted trail at Balboa Park for 25 terrifying years.
Sometimes I'll be in my office at the trail, and I'm just listening, and you can just hear groups screaming, and then laughter.
Haunted houses are addictive. Once you hear the sound of people screaming at what you've created, you just want more. That might sound sadistic, but there's a place for recreational fear.
This exhilaration you get from being scared, but knowing that you're safe, you're not going to get hurt, that's an adrenaline rush.
DeFada says his son Dylan was born into that.
One of my favorite things was he and his friends had no inhibitions about just getting down in the dirt. They would just crawl in the dirt and crawl up to people and scare the hell out of them. It was so funny.
But being a character at a haunt is demanding work, says Dylan.
The next day, it's hard to get out of bed. You're sore. Why did I jump out of that trash can 453 times last night? Or why was I holding the chainsaw and leaping over that barrel?
You overstaff the second night or the third night because a lot of people just don't make it back.
But that doesn't stop people from applying to be a character at the haunted trail.
First of all, you try and find people that can just abandon their normal interview. When I say go, we're going to have you guys do your best rage zombie. Go. What we're looking for is energy and creativity.
Not surprisingly, Dylan exudes that energy and creativity, combined with pragmatism.
You can really find inspiration anywhere, and working through that to find your horror product that's going to have repeatability every night, that's going to have some wow and awe factor to it, and that's going to work with the actors.
You're going to love the next one. Greg has created 2,000 different rooms over the years, and while the trail is only open for a couple months, it's a year-round job prepping the mile-long haunt and the 3,500 square foot maze that kicks it off.
You literally get to use every synapse in your head trying to figure out how to design, to build, to run a business.
Over the years, Dylan has worked every job from scare acting in front of house to sound, lights, and carpentry.
From designing so many rooms over the years, you start to realize where you need your distractions, you need your spot for your actor to be able to disappear in the right moments and then reveal for a scare or something. And it's a process. Each scene takes a lot of time and versions until we get to a room that will have people screaming and running out.
And screams really are what Greg and his team listen for to know what's working and what needs attention.
We're constantly going through the rooms to see, do we need to add something, shaker cans or air blasters or whatever it might be to boost it up? What do we need to change? Do we need to add smoke? Do we need to do this? It's always a work in progress. I don't care. On the last night, we're still tweaking things. I don't think I'll ever stop running the trail because I just love it so much. I still think I have a lot to offer, coming up with ideas, and that's kind of what it is. It's coming up with crazy ideas and seeing if it works. And you never know if it's going to work until you're testing it live on people that had just paid you to come in.
I don't want to go, bro.
Creating nightmares can be a dream job. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
The Haunted Trail opens Friday in Balboa Park and will be open through November 2nd to scare you. That's it for the podcast today. As always, you can find more San Diego news online at kpbs.org. In tomorrow's podcast, we're kicking off a series highlighting different Oktoberfests happening throughout the county. I'm Debbie Cruz. Thanks for listening and have a great day.
KPBS On Demand is supported by Latino Legacy Foundation, presenting their Storyteller series, Reach for the Stars with Ellen Ochoa, the first Latina astronaut. Welcome Serenade by the all-female mariachi Amapolas, Sunday, June 29th. More at latinolegacyfoundation.org.